On this episode, we speak with Alex, who talks about her birth journey in Japan.
So the doctor said, "What's your lifestyle like?" He's like, "Oh, I like to go to sauna and onsens." And then he's like, "Oh, you should, lay that off for a little bit."
She shares with us how her pregnancy went.
And then on the third trimester, it was just slow. It makes me feel like I'm tiny. Can I carry her? She's getting heavier and heavier. Is she getting enough from me? There's all these worries.
And her 19-hour labor.
These are some things where I could do on my own back in Malaysia. But I just needed him around because emotional support-wise and language support-wise, I want to know what's going on.
Hello and welcome to Birth Stories of Japan. Hello! We are back with some new episodes. I am so happy to be recording again and to be talking to all these beautiful mamas out there who are willing to share their stories. Thank you so much for your patience. If you've heard my birth story in episode 1 of this podcast, you'll know that I am going through something called TSW. So that slowed me down a little bit, but it cannot stop me. So here we are. Just a few little things before we get into this episode. Something that I announced on our Instagram page is that we are pregnant with baby number 2. We're so excited, and I will be sharing more about our pregnancy journey on Instagram at Birth Stories JP. Every week I'll be putting up updates, and I'm also putting up some language resources that me and a Japanese midwife are going to be working on together, so it will be accurate. Just for others to get used to the Japanese language and all the words that we hear quite often when we go to our appointments and things, which will hopefully help you guys. So if you're interested in any of that, please join us on Instagram. Here's the next episode. Enjoy. Hello! Thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me and her.
Yeah. So who have you got with you today? For those that can't see.
So our special guest, it's Mina, my 8-month-old baby girl. She is currently very calm. I think it's her bedtime soon, so this is great.
Lovely. Awesome. And do you want to tell us a little bit more about you and your family?
So I'm born and raised in Malaysia. Currently, I'm living in Japan with my husband, who's Japanese. So she is basically a mix of Malaysian. Her sassiness is a lot from Malaysia and Japanese. And also my husband's half Irish and Japanese, so she's got a bit of that.
Wow, she is such a cutie.
Beautiful.
And whereabouts in Japan are you living?
We're based in Kanagawa.
Cool. And what do you guys do for work?
I am a videographer and a photographer, and my husband is a movement, I would say like a glorified coach for people who like to move and get their body back in shape better.
Wow, that's super handy to have, hey?
It helps a lot during my prenatal stage. He trains me sometimes. Super strict though.
Yeah, true. So before we get into that, I'd love to know your journey to pregnancy. So how did you guys find out?
So at the beginning, I noticed my period was delayed. And, it's usually the period. And then I was like, oh, it's the 5th week. And usually it comes in 3 weeks. So 5th week, a bit suspicious. And so we were at the mall walking around. And then I just like, let's go to the Yakuyoku, and then let's get like a test kit and try it out. So we did it in the mall, and I came out showing my husband the results, and he was like, how is it? So he's just as excited as I am because we've been planning to have a baby for the longest time, for about, I guess, almost a year. So what happened was when I came out with the results, I'm like, we're having a baby. So we were super excited about it. Because we've been trying, honestly. We both went to our own doctors, our gynae to check. I did mine in Malaysia when I was back home visiting, and he also went to the gynae to check for his. But both our doctors were like, "You guys are both healthy. You guys are fine." So we were wondering what's the issue. So the doctor said, "What's your lifestyle like?" He's like, "Oh, I like to go to sauna and onsens." And then he's like, "Oh, you should, lay that off for a little bit, take a break from that, and then try again." And true enough, yeah, the following month we were pregnant.
Wow. Oh, that's so interesting. I'm so glad that it happened, how it was meant to happen, obviously. And then, so how did your actual pregnancy go? So, from the first trimester right to the third?
Honestly, it was not as bad as I thought it would be. First was I had a bit of morning sickness, but the more I ate, the better I felt. It was weird. So whenever I felt sick, I just needed to put stuff in my mouth and start eating, and I felt okay. Yeah, exactly. And then on the third month, the third trimester, it was just slow. It was so hard for me to move around. I'm sure a lot of moms would feel the same, I just wanted her to be safe because I'm not sure if I could hold it any longer. It makes me feel like I'm tiny. Can I carry her? She's getting heavier and heavier. Is she getting enough from me? There's all these worries, and then but it went by pretty smoothly, I would say.
What kind of things did you do around building strength prenatally?
I did sign up for Pilates classes. So I did a lot of Pilates stretches, and also I had a personal trainer, and apparently it helps with pushing this girl out, and it helps a lot with healing the after postpartum.
Awesome. Do you know the name of that studio?
Yes, it's Powerspot Gym, located in Nakameguro. I highly recommend it. It's actually really cool because this gym is made based for women and moms. If you have a baby, you can bring them over and someone would take care of them for you temporarily. Or you can even watch them lying next to you while you're doing your stretches. So this gym is all about that.
Awesome. And then how was finding a midwife or a clinic for you?
So I did not go through a midwife, but clinic-wise, it was recommended by my local clinic, ladies' clinic. The hospital is called Teikkyo Daigaku University. So that one is located at Takatsu, right by Futaku Tamagawa. It's all Japanese. So I struggle in the beginning while going to my checkups a lot because everything was just Japanese.
Right.
And I remember always needing to Google Translate whatever I need to say because those terms are all in Japanese and I don't know how to say it properly.
So how did you get by? So you use Google Translate. Did you have a translator at all?
Oh, the great thing is every checkup that we fix, we make sure it's on my husband's day off, so he can come along with me. I feel so bad because I know a lot of moms, even the hospital, all the moms come by themselves, and I'm the only one who has my husband next to me. And these are some things where I could do on my own back in Malaysia, but I just needed him around because emotional support wise and language support wise, I want to know what's going on. Every detail, I want to know, like, if something's wrong, if I'm getting the right information, if I'm treating my body right to, have her. So, yeah, it really helps a lot that my husband came along in a lot of the checkups. Thank you, babe. He's right there staring at me. He's like,
Awesome. And then, so let's talk about going into labor then. So how did that go?
Honestly, just now you were asking me how was my pregnancy. Pregnancy, I would say easy. That's for me. But the labor part, That's the worst part of it all.
Mm.
It was 19 hours for me. And I was brought to the hospital, and then they wheeled me up to the labor room.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just there in agony for 19 hours, just counting down the clock.
Yeah.
And every couple of hours, you just check if the dilation opens up, the cervix dilation.
Were you by yourself, or was your husband allowed to come in with you?
Unfortunately, I was all by myself. In this hospital, the policy is up to birth, all by myself, and your husband's allowed to come and see you for 15 minutes after birth, and that's it.
Oh,
And then they'll kick him away, and then it's all by myself again.
gosh.
And it so happened that week was Golden Week. Great, everyone's having a holiday, but at the same time, the hospital also does not permit visitors because it's Golden Week.
Right.
So
oh my gosh.
after birth, I couldn't have my mom, who was actually in Japan to help me with confinement. She couldn't visit for a couple of days until Golden Week's over. My husband couldn't come and see his own kid. So that was heartbreaking.
Yeah. Oh gosh. There's so many restrictions still from COVID, but also just in general. And yeah, it's so heartbreaking. Hey.
It sucks. I really wanted an experience where, you see a lot of videos where the husband's holding the baby next to you after birth, and, he's probably in the room together with you. That's my image of a perfect delivery. I would want that emotional support from him as well. Unfortunately, I did my best by myself. I was like, I got this, all right. Let's do this.
So strong. And for 19 hours, gosh. So how was that time for you? Walk us through it.
So the pain increased gradually, and towards honestly, I couldn't eat. There was a brief few seconds where I can actually have the energy to put stuff in my mouth and then hold on to the pain for 20 seconds, and then eat again, and then just the pain comes back, and so it was like that for 19 hours. So I lost my appetite, but the nurses were just such champs. They were so helpful. They even put on aroma therapy. That was nice. And then opposite me, there's another bed with another mom who actually gave birth on the same day as I did. So we both were in pain at the same time, and I could hear her, and she could hear me. I was the louder one. I was like, oh, that's right. So they were waiting for the water to break, but it wouldn't break. And then after that, they laid me sideways so that it would help the water to break, apparently. So after that, it did, but Mina, baby, decided to stay on a little longer and go up slightly. So she did not want to come out. What happened was they were like, okay, we need to induce you. So I saw the nurses was going through the needles and stuff, doing that thing. I was like, hold on a second, are you guys going to induce me? I was speaking in English because, at that time I was just like, are you inducing me? And they were like, induce? Yes. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I'm going to try by myself. You didn't even ask me to try. I'm going to try. I think I can push her out on my own.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So they put that away. And then right after that, they start getting ready. And then they actually had a suction to suck the baby out just in case I needed that. So she came out in 2 pushes. And I'm really glad I stuck through my my decision of not being induced. I feel like crying right now. There's so much emotions going on. First of all, I wish my husband was there to see it and experience, the whole process. At the same time, I was so happy. She's healthy. She's 3.1 kilograms. Yeah, almost 3.2. And healthy. The moment I heard her cry, I was like, oh, thank God she's okay. And honestly, everything after that was just, you know what? Do whatever you want to my uterus, my cervix. I just want to look at my baby.
Yeah.
So they placed her right next to me. And she was kind of quiet and just staring at me the whole time. It felt assuring in the sense like, it's like, hey, mama, you got this. I'm not going to cry. You just do your thing, like get stitched up. I'll look at you from here and then I'll be with you in a minute. Yes.
Oh, I love that. And then, so were you able to call your husband in straight from there, or did you still have to birth the placenta, or what happened there?
So the birthing of the placenta, I totally forgot about that. That's like such a trauma that I blocked it out of my head.
Oh, wow.
So birthing the placenta, no one talks about that until maybe you're a mom, until you realize, oh, that's a thing. You got to take that out, you know?
Yeah.
So that was something new to me. And I mean, I read up about it before giving birth, so I knew that was coming. But wow, that was difficult for me. I went through a lot of complications because first thing, the doctor wasn't sure if they left some bits and pieces inside. So after they stitched me out, they were kind of like walking back and forth and pondering, like, we might have a little piece inside. That's what I kind of understand from the commotion. It's all in Japanese, and I'm still kind of groggy from losing a lot of blood.
Right.
Also, by the way, they gave me like a blood transfusion, 2 packs of it. Because I lost so much blood after that.
Gosh.
While stitching me up, it was just blah. And then they wheeled me to the ER, where they had to do like a quick scan to see if they left anything inside of me. And I was in so much pain, the way they kind of like lift me up and put me into another bed. Just little movements like that is painful, you know, because your bottom, the lower part of your body is just so sensitive. But thankfully, nothing left. So thank God they did not need to open up the stitches again. But they had like a few, I remember having like a lot of faces looking at me. It felt like I was a specimen, because it's probably like a university hospital. So there's a lot of doctors that were still in training.
I see.
And I think my case was probably like a rare case where they wanted to study. So suddenly there was a lot of training doctors standing like that, all looking down at my lower part. Like, oh my God.
Yep. Kind of the last thing you want to deal with, but
Exactly. I just want to sleep, and I'm also very hungry. Just bring me back to my room. Stop treating me like an experiment. But anyway, I'm just glad she's okay, and
beautiful, 100%. Just going back a little bit, what week gestational were you when you went into labor? Do you remember?
I was week 41, so I was 1 week late.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. And also, did you find out baby's gender?
We did. We found out, and then we were already prepping for... Actually, we did not prep for anything. We just kind of like, we're happy to get any gender, but when we found out, we're equally as happy as if we would get another gender. And then a good friend of ours, Patrick, he actually organized like a baby shower for us.
Cute.
So we wanted to make sure that we're not getting a bunch of diapers, because people don't know the gender.
Yeah.
Right? So each month of my pregnancy, I did that. So yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah.
Baby shower.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh. So exciting.
Exciting time for you too.
Because, I know. Like this pregnancy, the first pregnancy, it was very, very low key in the sense that we were in the middle of COVID. I had other health issues. So I wasn't really thinking about the pregnancy. I wasn't really celebrating it or anything. I was kind of just like, okay, we're going to get through this and then we're going to have a baby. And that's when I can think about baby. Whereas this time I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. So many things to do and prepare for. And I just love it.
Exciting time.
That's so cool. Yeah. Okay, and so how did you go with your recovery? So postpartum, do you want to talk about that?
Postpartum. So earlier I mentioned my mom was here for about 2 months. So she came before my delivery, and then after that she stayed on for a month to take care of me. So for Chinese, we have this thing called confinement, and we do a lot of herbal soups. So every day she would boil me really healthy herbal, traditional Chinese herbal medicine to heal my body and to get better strength. And she's honestly such a champ. She was just helping me out with the laundry, the food, the cleaning, the baby. I don't know how she did all that
Superstar.
by herself.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. And then how about your recovery physically and mentally?
I'll start with physical first. That's less heavy. Physically, I went back on my Pilates gradually. Did not go back for the first 3 months or so, if I remember correctly. But I was still kind of like, doing some light stretches at home, the things I remember from the class. And then after that, honestly, recovery went by pretty fast apparently because of all the breathing techniques I did back in my Pilates classes before.
Nice.
So that was really helpful. Mentally though, the first 3 months was honestly the hardest for me. It was, I'll be honest, the breastfeeding part really broke me. So in the beginning, I wasn't sure if I could breastfeed because I know my mom and my grandma couldn't. So I thought, okay, maybe I couldn't as well.
Right.
But I really wanted to try. And it was just hard to even get her to latch on me. So it was just a process to learn for me and for her. And it took some time getting used to. It's a lot of self-blaming at first because I'm not providing enough. Of course, we don't mind mixing formula milk as well. Nothing against formula, but I just want to give her my breast milk as well. Why can't I do it? I'm so tired. I'm constantly crying. Honestly, it was a postnatal depression as well. That was rough because didn't really have much people to talk to. My mom didn't breastfeed, so she did not have that issue. So she probably didn't really understand what I was going through. And then I did not know who to talk to as well because, I don't have many mom friends at the time. And searching online is the last thing you want to do when you're looking for advice about little things like that, because you get so many different opinions on the internet telling you this, telling you that. And after a while, you just get so overwhelmed. You feel shittier. I'm sorry to use the word, but you just feel horrible that you're not doing a good job.
That's so tough. I think it's such a big thing that for some people it comes naturally. There's an expectation, I'm supposed to be able to do it. But for a lot of women, it's a really, really tough journey.
It's not something they teach you in textbooks or, you open up a brochure, step 1, step 2. No, every mom's different, every child is different.
And then how was it just you getting better with breastfeeding Mina that helped you with that postnatal depression, or was it family, or?
It was a lot of practicing, lots and lots of practicing. Although there are times where I just want to give up and you know what? She probably doesn't like boobies. Let me just give her, bottles. But I kept going. And eventually, it got better. Also, I think I got a lot of support over the internet from nice comments from people that I don't even know, but who are moms as well. So that kind of lifted me up slightly. Okay, this is normal. There are a lot of people out there who are writing to me their personal stories, and it really makes me feel, okay, I'm not alone. So that's one great thing that I learned about this journey, that you're never alone. People just don't talk about it enough.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And so now I'd love to get into the cost. So do you remember how much the whole birth cost for you guys?
I think I paid about 300,000 yen from
Awesome.
the birth to checkups as well. So checkups is subsidized by the government. In my ward, Kawasaki ward, it's we get like a little book that you can give to the doctors every time you go for checkups, and then it's subsidized.
Awesome. It's bottle time. First question. Do you have any words or advice for other mamas struggling with breastfeeding?
My advice would be just keep practicing and don't give up, because it's a learning process for both you and the baby. The baby's also learning how to latch, how to suck. And for you, you're a first-time mom. It's your first time breastfeeding. This is totally new to you, so don't beat yourself up to it. Don't beat yourself up for it. Is that correct, English?
Yes.
Don't beat yourself up for it.
Awesome. Beautiful.
Yes,
Love
try.
that. And one more.
Ooh, I'm nervous.
If you could go back in time, what would you say to yourself going through postpartum depression?
That's heavy. Ooh. I would say it gets better. I promise. Just hang in there. You're gonna get stronger and stronger, and you're still learning. And it's okay that you're going through hardships. You're not alone. And you don't have to blame yourself for it, because everyone's doing their best. Baby's doing her best. You're doing your best, and it's just the way it goes. You just gotta keep learning. You're not dunk into the ocean, learn how to swim right away. You gotta learn how to stay afloat first before you learn how to swim. So that's a process.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I'd love to end it on what's the best part about being a mama?
The best part is to see her smile. So worth it every morning, just waking up to her smile and to just hear her babble. And wow, it's like I created her. I created a being who's just chatting and talking right now. It's just so nice to absorb all the milestones every time. Like, wow, she's learning how to do this, she's learning how to do that. It's just so beautiful.
It is. And you are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Stop it, Tiana.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. I know that it's so going to help others out there who are also first-time moms trying to navigate the whole pregnancy birth journey here in Japan and not quite knowing the language fully. So thank you so much for giving your advice.
My pleasure. Thank you for allowing me to, share my story as well.
A huge thank you again to our guests for being brave and sharing their story. And also to you, our listeners. I really hope that you are able to take something from today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe and leave a rating and review. To stay up to date with Birth Stories of Japan and get all the behind the scenes content, you can follow us on Instagram at birthstoriesjp. And if you can share this podcast on to others as well, that would be a huge help. Lastly, if you're a mama in Japan and would love to share your story, please send an email to birthstoriesjp@gmail.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.